thank you all for joining us this morning on today's Brunch Bytes. Hopefully you all get something out of this today. We'll just give ourselves a quick introduction. So my name is Dan Green. I'm the Service Delivery Manager for Qlic IT. I look after the service delivery team, and I have a 19 years experience in the IT industry. And I'll hand you over to Colin.
Hello, my name's Colin Hughes. I've been with Qlic IT for 1 year now, and I've got 20 years of experience.
Okay, and today we will be discussing, like I said earlier, the finer points of OneDrive versus SharePoint. We'll be able to provide you today to give you insight into making informed decisions about how you would utilize OneDrive and SharePoint. And to do this, we're going to focus on practical real-world use cases. And at the end, we'll take some questions from you. So let's dive right in with the first slide. So this is just a quick overview of Qlic IT here, a little bit about what we do. We do IT support services, we do cybersecurity, we offer cloud solutions, and we offer telecoms. We've got over 20 years of experience as an MSP, so a managed service provider. And we leverage our vast experience to offer top-notch IT services and consultancy to business and charities at competitive rates. Okay, we recognise all the hurdles faced by the charity and educational sectors. A lot of our customer base is charity and educational sectors, and we look to provide customised solutions tailored specifically to meet their individual need. But even if you're not charity or educational, we still look to tailor something. For you individually. Our goal is to help you optimize your IT environment through flexible and personalized packages. And we're more than just the IT guy, we're your partners. Okay, so what is Microsoft SharePoint? So SharePoint is a collaboration platform. It's built for teams, departments, and organizations to store, manage, and share your files from a centralized location. It allows data lists. So if you want to track some asset registry, you want to track some assets, USB sticks, or for example, computers, laptops, you can do. Okay, and also in terms of the, you can have intranet content as well. So you can have like a Twitter feed. And you can have Facebook integration and things like that. The key features of SharePoint being you can have document libraries that allows you to break up your data. Okay, so you could break it up into a HR, a finance, a marketing, break up the business in different document libraries, and that allows you to get really granular with your permissions and your role-based access controls. And also what you can do is you're allowed versioning of files. Okay, so what you can do with your files is you could go back to a previous version if you have made an error in a document or something along those lines, or you just want to figure out, okay, well, what did I put in that previous version? Permissions management, you can get really, really granular with permissions. You can implement permissions and security features from a document library level, a site level, a folder level, and even get as granular to tweak individual file access. So if you really have a special file that you don't want people to access, you can really lock that down. Okay, and you can have asset management, calendar management within your SharePoint as well. It's a digital filing cabinet for your teams that you can scale as your organization scales. And with the implement of role-based access security, it will be able to keep your data truly safe in terms of allowing the right users to access the right data. Okay, and I'm going to hand over to Colin to discuss the finer points of OneDrive.
Microsoft OneDrive. So OneDrive is basically a cloud storage service that allows you to store files online and access them virtually anywhere. So virtually anywhere basically means any device with access to the internet. So you can access the files either from a browser or with the OneDrive application downloaded to your laptop, PC, mobile device. It's part of Microsoft 365 suite and integrates deeply with Windows, Office apps, and other Microsoft services. So in an enterprise solution, for example, if you have Power BI, you can store data within OneDrive itself. So if you have storage plans, so OneDrive typically comes with 5 gig of storage. So if you have a Outlook.com account, Hotmail, you basically have OneDrive already, and it's 5 gig. If you have a paid for license, such as within Microsoft 365, you have a bigger storage capacity. So OneDrive key features. So it integrates really well with Microsoft. So if you have Word, Excel downloaded to your computer, you can easily access files from your OneDrive account. You can also access OneDrive from online. So if you've got Word online, you can access and edit files that way. So it's got cross-platform. So it works on basically any device. So Windows, Mac, iPhone, Android phone, Linux. And as I mentioned before, you can access it on the web. So web being office.com, sign in with your email address and password. It also allows offline sync updates automatically. So files and demands. So you don't need to download the file to edit or to view. You can basically access it from the computer, either directly from OneDrive online or from your computer. So security, so it's really secure. It offers 256-bit encryption with two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication is basically when you sign into OneDrive with your email address and password, you should get a prompt to either get a text to your phone or to authenticate with a authenticator app. So OneDrive also offers sharing and collaboration. So within your OneDrive account, you can share with your colleagues and collaborate on modifying Excel spreadsheet or Word document, or at the same time, you can work on presentations together, which is really good. So backup and sync. So when you log into OneDrive on your computer, for example, OneDrive asks you, do you want to back up your documents, desktop and pictures? It's always good to do that, just in case if there's a hardware failure, so your work is not lost.
So I'm just going to go over the pros of SharePoint here. And I may have touched on some of them previously. So one of the things that it is built for team collaboration. Okay, like I said previously, it's really and Colin touched on in the OneDrive part. It does allow for scope to have a document open and work collaboratively on a spreadsheet, on a Word document. You know, it really, obviously we built this presentation out together, the three of us. So it really does, drive cohesion, and you all are on the same page when you need to be. And it does support internal and external collaboration securely. Okay, there are methods of doing this. We have a couple that we would recommend as best practice, just to keep your security posture as high as you possibly can. But it does allow internal and external collaboration securely. Like I said previously, the versioning history for documents. Anytime a document is changed, you go in, make a slight change, it tracks every time a document is is changed. Now, what this allows you to do is, in the event of something is overwritten or something is changed to something it shouldn't be, you can go back to a previous version of that document. Okay, but you mustn't consider this a backup solution. Okay, this is not a way to back up your data. If you need something to accompany to do that backup of your data, which will incorporate your emails, your OneDrive, your SharePoint data, your Teams data. But this version history is not a backup solution. Okay, and it does require some configuration. So it's just not something that works out of the box. Okay, we do need to do some configuration to allow the versioning to become apparent and be usable. Okay, it integrates with Microsoft Teams, so it doesn't enhance your collaboration experience as a team. You can, if you create a Teams channel or a Teams group, that will create a site in SharePoint that you can then link to if you need to and reference. So that small team site used by a very small member of the group of the team can then be put into the bigger, wider SharePoint infrastructure to be, even offer an even more collaborative experience. The structure of the document libraries allows you to get very specific in who has access to what. Okay, it allows full organization, so you can make sure you have all the right financial data in the finance document library, and all the marketing materials in one area. And to manage that, we would use security permissions, security groups, and we can get really, really granular. Like I said previously, we can get all the way from site level. So, this team can't access this site, they can access 2 or 3 other sites. We can get to document library level. Only HR people can access the HR document library. Folder levels, so maybe there is a folder within HR that you do need to offer out to the finance team. You can do that. It is a perfectly viable experience, and we something that we are very well versed in. You can even get down to file level. Okay, so if there's one specific file in a document library that is needed for everyone, you can share that out securely without the other teams or other people having access to everything within that document library, because they highly likely shouldn't, apart from this one file. All right, so those are the pros of SharePoint. And I'm going to discuss some of the limitations as well. So obviously, I understand that some of the terminology I've used, it can come across as overwhelming. All right, although it is very flexible. Okay, you can have the SharePoint site as small or as complex as you need it. We deal with a lot of complex SharePoint sites here at Qlic IT, but we also deal with very, very small SharePoint sites, which just server specific need. It doesn't matter how big or small you want it, we'll offer the same best practice solution for you. Okay, and it can be a big change from going from one form of file storage to another. So say you had a NAS drive or a file server, to go from that to SharePoint can be a little bit overwhelming. Okay, now we are here to talk you through the process of getting used to that. Okay, we will offer training, we will offer documentation, whatever it needs to get you and your team up to speed. The administrative responsibilities, depending on how complex it is, we would take that role on for you. Okay, but if you wish to take on the role, again, we can offer training, provide you the permissions to do that, but it can be a lot to manage. Okay, so we would advise, if you do want to take it on, that's absolutely fine. We would advocate for that, because it's always good to have full automation with your data, okay, or autonomy with your data, I should have said. But at the same time, if you feel it's a lot to manage, you want us to assist in that, we can do that. Okay. In terms of best practice, we would always urge to crudely draw out your mind map, so to speak, of how you want your SharePoint or your OneDrive to look. Okay, and how you envisage users using it. It's great when we discuss what people want, but at the same time, we will take it drawn on a napkin, on a proper flow chart, whatever you want to do. But it's always good to get that information down on paper, and then we can discuss what sort of jump off points there are and get what you need, and make sure everything is within best practice. All right, we look at security practices, we look at how things flow, like data flow. So again, we will make sure all of that and your ideas are as secure as they can be. Okay, I would definitely say this is not ideal for ad hoc or personal storage, because it's so vast. Okay, you get a lot of storage. That's what OneDrive is for. Okay, SharePoint is also open by design, so it's not locked down. We do the locking down. And if you put anything into a SharePoint team site and it isn't locked down, it will be open for others to view. And unless it's configured to restrict access, any data added to a SharePoint site is visible to all users, and that's from Microsoft as well.
Okay, excellent. So pros of OneDrive. So OneDrive it offers convenience. So as I mentioned before, you can access your files on any device. You can take the files offline to work on them if you've got no signal in your area, and you can make changes. And when internet becomes available, it would update your OneDrive account, so you can work anywhere, even if you haven't got internet access. When you have internet access, you can update the documents that way. Collaboration. It is possible to share your OneDrive data with your friends and colleagues, and you can work on them together. It doesn't have to be all at the same time. You can work independently and build a document together. Security. So as I mentioned before, there's 256-bit encryption. So yeah, it's really secure. And there is a way to recover the data. I think with OneDrive, you can, if you accidentally delete a file, you can recover it within 30 days. Productivity. So it integrates well with Microsoft 365. So you can search for documents that is included in your OneDrive. So it brings all your files all in one place. There's a scalability, it's applicable for individuals, schools, and enterprises. So anyone can use OneDrive. Doesn't have to be in a business environment, but it can be. Cost effectiveness. As I mentioned before, you can get a free 5 gig allowance based upon a Outlook or Hotmail Live account, but it's also available within a Microsoft 365 subscription. Automatic backups. So it can back up anything on your computer. You can pick and choose what it backs up, but commonly it synchronizes with desktop documents and pictures. Limitations of OneDrive. So an individual file is capped at 250 GB. So that's quite big. So I don't know why people would have that size files, but it is capped at 250 gig. Performance issue. So normally, rule of thumb, 300,000 items within your OneDrive account gives you optimum performance. If you have more files or more items, it can slow down the process of synchronizing or accessing your OneDrive items. There are restricted characters, for example, // question marks, pipes, colons, and so forth. And external sharing. So if you're using your OneDrive that's assigned to your corporate Microsoft 365 tenants, some organizations may turn off external sharing. So this means you cannot share with anyone outside your domain. So anyone who has a different email address that's not supported by your organization, you cannot share with external people. Data from ex-employees. So if somebody leaves the company and you unassign a license, the data will only be held for 30 days. It may be 90 days, depends on the license, but normally it's 30 days if you unassigned a license. It lacks ransomware protection. So ransomware protection is commonly down to your local antivirus. So that should protect all your files, but it's not really protected with OneDrive. And there are some unsupported, unreliable sync system files like .loc, .temp, and .pst. .pst is normally a Outlook file store of all your emails. So it's not good practice to have an access a PST file from your OneDrive synchronized account. Here's a quick comparison of SharePoint versus OneDrive. So OneDrive is typically a personal storage device. It's a simple file storage and sync device, and it's just doesn't have it doesn't offer many sharing permissions, and those that overlap. It is, of course, a cloud storage system. You can file share, and it's a collaborative tool.
And then obviously you've got here that SharePoint comparisons it's team and company oriented. Okay, it offers a document management and intranet solution, so it could be quite complex or as complex or as simple as you want it, and it does offer advanced security permissions and security options.